Welcome into yet another OUA season preview with the one and only Coach Corey Grant from the Carleton Ravens. Moments before we hit record here, we had a couple players who shall remain nameless jump on and kind of disturb Coach. And if the energy that they got and have had all training camp is what we're getting this year from the Carleton Ravens, it's going to be a treat as always. So thank you, Coach, for joining us for your season preview.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing this and having me on again. And let's go. Come on now.
All right. Well, week one, you guys have a road game against Guelph. Uh, how have you guys kind of gone through camp this year that has differed from years past under you, as this is now year three? That's kind of changed up your approach.
Yeah, I think this year we have a lot of guys returning and they know my expectations. I did a lot of different things with the coordinators just to give them an opportunity to put us in different situations because we could move a little bit faster with the guys that we had returning. It wasn't a lot of new learning. It was more, okay, how can we take what we've learned from before and then build on top of that? But also remembering we want to bring along some of these young guys that are going to be able to come in and contribute right away. So that was really good. And even for myself, I was a little bit more organized and not running them around as much, just because I knew what to expect and plan well in advance.
And as I talk about those young guys coming up, this is now your third year as the head coach. It's kind of the time where we start to see the guys you have recruited to come to the program kind of take that next step. Who are some of those guys that you're expecting to make a big leap for your program?
Brody Burke inside. He came in my first year, held on the defensive line, and now he's going into that third year. He's looking really good in camp, and I know he loves those games against his brother against UFT. So having that spark, and I know his brother was at the East West, so happy with that. Christopher Dupin on defense. Excited to see his growth and development over these few years. Fred Hashi on the offensive side, it's his third year. So there's a multiple guys that are now starting to grow, and they came in at the exact same time as me, and they understand the standard, and they're helping lead the guys. And even the guys that are a little bit older, one of them we saw pop into the camera earlier, they're not only their buy-in, but their leadership is so important, and it's refreshing to see.
Now, taking kind of a bigger look, you have a ton of playmakers, Hashe, who you mentioned, but one namely Kasim Ferdinand. How have you kind of been impressed by him consistently being that big star and big chunk play kind of guy for your team?
Oh, we're impressed with him all the time, right? We know we can flip the field, and he's that spark plug for us a lot of times in games and stuff like that. And sometimes teams take him away, which get other guys open, which is awesome. And he's a selfless player where he doesn't care. He just wants to be on the field and help the team in any which way. And then for him, what I like to see, especially this year, and I've seen throughout camp, is his leadership, not only on the field, because he works harder than anybody. And it's almost like got to slow him down, but also off the field, right? Working with the young guys, showing them what it means to, learn the offense and doing those little things. So I am excited to see his growth in that piece. It is, he's looking to probably go to the CFL and do those things, but I want to see that growth with him, not only on the field, but also off the field, helping the young kids.
As we continue to talk about your offense here, I want to talk about the facilitator of that offense, Tristan Lefebvre. Was a very efficient quarterback last year for you guys in the 2023 season. We're talking about growth. We're talking about development. Talk to me about his growth and development. What have you seen from him over, the course of spring camp into now training camp, and how he's kind of developed as your quarterback and your leader of this team?
Yeah. It's been amazing. He was, last year was that first time for him, right? And everything was really new for him and doing that. Now I can start to see that poise in the huddle. I try and rattle him sometimes, and he just stays consistent and doing those things like that. And it doesn't matter whether he's with the starters or we put him in the fourth group, he's taking on that leadership role, right? And whatever we ask him to do. I think from spring even to now, when I was with him with the Red Blacks, through the Red Blacks training camp, because he did that apprenticeship program, he got a lot of great learning there. And I can start to see him taking that and bringing that to us now. And I can't say enough about his leadership and his poise on the field and off the field in the locker room. It's just great to see him doing that, and hopefully he can continue to carry that into the fall.
Now,
And
from oh, go Connor, sorry.
sorry, yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that CFL apprenticeship program, because it is a really, really cool experience for these quarterbacks. How did Tristan find it, if you don't mind expanding on that a little bit more, and kind of as a whole, what do you think that does for the Canadian quarterback landscape?
I thought it was great for him. Right, I was able to be at the Red Blacks camp and be able to sit in the meetings with them, and it was good because he could sit around pros and see how they absorb the information, see what a professional um, quarterback, how they work, how they study, how they interact with the receivers and the rest of the offense. And then for him just to get new ideas about, okay, they're doing this, or we do it similar. Maybe we can't do this, but it just one of his development to see how close he is, because he can throw the ball, which was absolutely amazing. Because I was working with the receivers and he was the receiver arm, and the guys were impressed with his arm. So he can make all the throws, but then it's just speeding up the process and learning the different reads and all of the footwork to go with it. So the benefit for him and for all the quarterbacks that go in, I think it's tremendous, and hopefully they continue to build on that and grow that and that program. And it'll just help with our quarterbacks and having our Canadian quarterbacks being able to go to the next level and play and be successful at the next level. And I know we have a couple there now in the CFL that can play, and we've seen it. And hopefully we can continue to build that not only in the OUA, but also have those guys in the rest of the youth sports going up to that next level and, contributing in the CFL, and those coaches understanding that they can make that transition.
How nice was it for you to be back in a CFL setting during that Red Blacks training camp?
It was absolutely great. And I will say this, I am the best assistant receiver coach ever. It was the best job in the summer. I didn't have any responsibilities. I wasn't worried about anybody knocking at my door. I just got to go out and coach, and I had a blast. I had an absolute blast, being back with Tommy Condell, who actually was a mentor of mine that I worked with when I was with the Ticats, and just being back with him, learning again from Travis more. And then even just being able to sit back and watch Coach Dice work, and watching how he managed the team and the bench. Because sometimes you get into this position as a head coach and then you don't get to sit back. You're just in it all the time. But I was able to be on the bench, be around, see how he interacted, how he did things, and I actually took a few of the things that they did and actually implemented it here to make sure that we were getting better. So I had a blast for the summer and working with them, and learned a lot. And it was great.
That's awesome. Now, we talked about your quarterbacks, we talked about some of the playmakers. We haven't talked about the big boys up front.
Yeah.
How's the big five looking for the Carleton Ravens, and how's your run game going to kind of build off of that?
Yeah, we were sad and happy. I was sad that Pat came back, but happy that he came back, Pat Lavoie. So he'll be back. Angus was at the East-West, so he'll be back anchoring it down. And we got some other guys coming in, which we're happy about. And we've been healthy throughout camp, knock on wood, and hopefully being healthy going into this first game of the season. So we want to improve on our run game. That's been a focus of ours this entire off season, and doing those things. So we'll see if we can build on that and get that going. But, in the end, we have TL back there throwing the rock around. So hopefully we can have that balanced attack and help him out with a balanced run game.
Now, outside of he who shall not be named and the rest of the guys that knocked at the door,
Yeah.
how's the front seven looking on the other side of the ball?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them. I'm pretty happy with what they showed and they did in camp, and they've been working hard. So I'm excited to let them loose and see what they can produce on the field come this week and come the full season. Who is it? Nathan Clark. He had a good showing at the East-West, and being able to go there and then surround him with some other guys. It should be we're excited. I'm excited to see them go this coming weekend, and then what they can do and build on for the rest of the season.
Now, Carleton has had like a really good run. I mean, since the program has came back, of producing these high level pass rush talents and defensive linemen through and through. How have you continued to kind of build on that? And what do you guys do that you think might differ from other programs in the country that put out such high level defensive linemen?
Yeah, I think it's the work ethic. It's the coaches that are coaching them, right? And, it's the young men that are taking that coaching. I don't think there's any secret to it. It's just we talk about working hard, being present and, getting 1% better every day, right? But they take that to heart and they're trying to push each other to get better. And you can see it not only in practice, on the field, but they see it in the classroom. They're coaching up each other. They're holding each other accountable. Shoot, if they're late for meetings, they're holding each other accountable for those things. And I think that's just building the character and the discipline that they need to be great linemen, on both sides of the ball. And I don't think it's a big secret. It's the young men that are putting in the work, and then the coaches that are working with them. Val on the offensive side, Coach Frank on the offensive side, Coach Ron on the other side with the D line, even Coach Alex, working with the D line. They're coaching them up, and then the guys are buying in, and then they're putting in the work.
Awesome. Finally, I guess the last kind of unit we're going to talk about here is your back end, your linebackers. I mean, we talked about Louis Laveau being one of those guys that's graduated and moved on from the program. How do you kind of fill that leadership role off the field, and also the high level of play that he brought to your secondary?
Yeah, we still have OT at the back. He's back, and we still have some veteran guys back there. So we don't worry about that. And they've been learning. They learned from Louis, right? They learned from Medley and the guys that are gone. X Malone right in the middle, right? Xavier up in the middle, and he'll still be here, and we have some guys back. So I'm excited about that. And now you get to see some of the young guys that have been practicing over this time. Now it's their time to shine, right? And I understand there'll be a learning curve, and that's expected, but they've been working hard, and we get to go out on the field now and prove it. And that learning curve, just like how those guys like Louis came in and he had to learn from somebody else, and then he got to his level. Hopefully they're taking those lessons on, and then we'll be able to go out and they'll be able to perform. But they'll work together as a group and as a unit, and they've been doing a good job throughout camp. There'll be some mistakes, which is fine. They learn from them, and then we move on.
Yeah, we are transitioning into week 1 now for the OUA season here. So Guelph Griffin's coming up for you guys. What are the expectations for week 1? What is that week 1 matchup going to look like in terms of, your preparation, what you guys are doing to get ready, and the excitement level?
Yeah, the guys are excited. They have a new head coach, and I've been in that role before, but he's also been there before, so it's not new for him, like new guys and new surroundings. So he knows the guys, he knows the players, which will be a benefit for them. I know a new defensive coordinator and doing that, but they have the same special teams coach. So the systems won't vary that much, or maybe they will, right? We're just going to have to worry about ourselves. We're excited. We know they're going to be a good football team. We know that they're going to be coached well. They're playing at home. They're going to be flying around and doing those things, and that energy is going to be up. And for us, it's going to be, getting that travel, coming down, and then meeting their energy, right? And then trying to exceed that. There'll be some highs and some lows, but we know we're going into a really good football team, really good football community, and we're going to expect a battle. And we're just going to hope we make more plays than them and come out with the win in the end.
Now, the perennial question with you is, do we have any new uniform combinations, Coach Grant?
I do see the throwback helmet there behind you, so.
Oh, yeah, we got the throwback. I'm hiding it. We will have to wait and see. We might, we may not. We'll see if we can do that. We'll see. Come out and watch a game. Come out and watch some U Sports. Watch OUA. Follow Carleton Ravens football. Follow us. Follow Carleton Ravens. And then come out. You might see some new uniforms. You may not. I know I have one of my guys out there making different things. And on this whole football thing, I don't know what he was doing. One of my quarterbacks was doing something.
Yeah, he made the NCAA rosters for U Sports.
Right. So maybe he designed something that we might be wearing later on this year. We may not. Come out and watch a game, and you might see.
That's fantastic. Okay, final one, I guess. The scrimmage with Concordia, we talked about a bit before we started recording. More for the younger players, how do you kind of value that experience of seeing semi-live bullets instead of just your same jersey?
Oh, it was great. It's absolutely great. They're a good football team, and it's just a different brand of football going up there to Concordia and playing them. And yeah, we got to evaluate our young guys. We got to get hit in the mouth, right? And are we going to get back up, right? And it was really good for us as a coaching staff to work our sideline mechanics and then really see in a pressure situation that meant something to our guys and to them. how our guys would react. And so for me as a head coach going in, we came out pretty healthy, which is important. You want to come out of that and get into the season. And we were to get a lot of learnings of where we're at with ourselves as a team and as a staff, and where we need to go for week one. So those are invaluable lessons. You playing against and practicing against yourself, you really don't get that feel. But then when you go against somebody else, it really shows some of your weaknesses and some of your strengths. So I was happy with it, and we're using that right now to build and going into week one.
All right. Well, I think that's a perfect place to end that one off. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Best of luck this season going into 2024. Always a fun interview with yourself.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Keep doing what you do. You know, when you see me out, say hi. Maybe not in the middle of the game, but I will be catching punts again on the sideline just in case if they kick it my way. I did catch a deep one against Concordia. Coach threw it and I caught it in the middle of the field. The guys were cheering for me. I think I hurt myself, but I'm good to go for next week.
Means you still got it, right? As long as you still got it, that's the point.
I let them know that all the time. I still got it, but the pain I was in when I had to land, I was like, oh my God, please don't fall. And I need treatment.
You get primary spot for the therapy sessions though, so don't worry. You get first booking.
100%, 100%. Thank you guys for the work that you do though. This is awesome and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Once again, Coach Corey Grant from the Carleton Ravens.